Halftime Howie here, live from Pacho's Cantina in Island Park. And we got a great story tonight. Maureen, the biker girl Griffin, returns to the show. Maureen, welcome back.
Thank you so much for inviting me back, Howie.
Maureen is an amazing singer, but she's got a really interesting story that we're going to touch upon in the show tonight. And it's all about family and curiosity. Maureen had a wonderful mom and dad. Wonderful family, correct?
Yes, the best. Absolutely the best.
But she found out early on in her life that she was adopted, correct?
Yep.
And in the last couple of months, she's met several of her biological brothers and sisters. And later in the show, Maureen's going to talk about that, about what that experience has been, and we can't wait to hear about it, Maureen.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, being adopted was my favorite bedtime story growing up, I've always known. And I was made to feel that I was double loved because I was loved by my parents who couldn't wait to have a child. My mom couldn't. And I was also told that I was loved by my biological mother who loved me enough to give me up when she couldn't raise me. So.
Okay. All right, and we'll find out later in the show how many she's been in touch with. But how many was in the original family, brothers and sisters?
Between my birth mother and my birth father,
Yeah.
my birth father had 7 other children and my birth mother had 6 other children. So I'm one of 14.
Wow. So we're going to find out in the show. And if you're curious out in Facebook, Len, make sure you check the video out tomorrow on our Halftime Howie show page and Halftime Howie on YouTube. Is Maureen's going to tell some of the stories, and then we're hopefully in January when we do our holiday show, maybe 1 or 2 of her biological brothers and sisters will join us. That's going to be so cool.
Well, we'll see. I have to ask them.
All right, and let's find out, and let's talk a little about the album. What are you going to be singing from your new album tonight?
Okay, I'm going to be singing the title track, Hugs and Kisses. I'll be singing Packing for a Bike Trip, and I may even throw in Itty Bitty Titty Committee.
Ooh, I like it, I like it. I am the voice of Long Beach. Halftime, Howie. Time of day for the Rocco Passafumi movie review. Take it away, Rocco.
Yes, thank you, Howie. The movie that I have chosen this week is none other than Justice League. It is directed by Zack Snyder and stars Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot, Jason Momoa, Amy Adams, and Henry Cavill. It is the latest movie in the DC Extended Universe. It's pretty much the movie that pretty much is why we even have a DC Extended Universe in the first place. Basically, Bruce Wayne, of course we know as Batman, played by Affleck, enlists the help of his newfound ally, Diana Prince, known as Wonder Woman, played by Gal Gadot, to face an even greater enemy. As we've seen with the past movies in the DC Extended Universe, it's had a pretty spotty track record so far. I mean, we started with a really dark Superman movie, Man of Steel, and then that goes into a very darker but even more confused Batman vs. Superman, and then we ended up with Suicide Squad, which was a little better, but it was still relatively dark. And then it lightened up considerably last year with Wonder Woman, probably the best film in the whole franchise. And now we have the movie that pretty much is why we even have this in the first place, the big film that where everything certainly should be coming together, which is Justice League. Most people will know that Justice League is very reminiscent of the Avengers in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and that's what they go for here. But the thing with the Avengers and why that worked so well is the fact that in Avengers you had all these different heroes with all these different types of personalities, and they're all working together for a common cause. With this particular movie, because the characters don't quite have the kind of the differences and interesting characters that would make this kind of movie resonate with people beyond comic book fans, this movie kind of doesn't quite work the same way as the Avengers. I mean, what is good about the Justice League is that it fixes a lot of the problems that they've had with previous DC movies, particularly the Batman vs. Superman movie. it doesn't quite fix it enough because unfortunately the movies still suffer from a bit of a tone problem in terms of, sometimes the movies are too, the moments are too dark and they're like here, like it's dark and it's also humorous at times, but it doesn't really gel together the way the Marvel movies have. The Marvel movies have humor and they have great characters that make you, even if you've never seen a superhero movie in your life, love it. It kind of beats the kind of low expectations that we've had for these superhero movies because there's just been so many of them. But with this one, the Justice League, even though it's good action, and I think most people who like action movies will more or less enjoy it, it doesn't have that thing that carries it over the threshold that you've seen with the Marvel movies. I think that, it doesn't really bode well for DC in terms of them trying to compete with Marvel. I feel like they just end up playing catch up with Marvel, and I feel like it really is resonant with this particular entry in the movie. So, like I said, it's decent. Justice League is a fairly decent entry in the DC Extended Universe, but it doesn't have that same level of thrill that you would get from Wonder Woman, which made that one of the better DC Extended Universe movies. And so, if you like the superhero movies, I think you'll like this. It's decent, but it's just not enough, especially since we've had so many superhero movies in the last couple of years. So I give Justice League 2 out of 5 stars. So thank you very much.
Hey, thank you very much, Rocco.